All right, we are live. Hey, everybody. This is Chuck Temple with Electric Scooter Guide, and this is episode number 25 of Scooter Chat Live. Pretty excited. We've got another special guest for you. We got another set of scooters. We have another premiere coming up right after the show, so stay tuned for that. So this episode is all about the GOTRAX. It's GOTRAX week. GOTRAX has two new scooters out. This is the scooters that are going to replace the GXL Commuter V2. And basically, we've got our review coming out at 6 on those two new scooters, but the prices are $300 to $400, and we have a coupon code for you that is going to get you $50 off either of those models, making them some of the most reliable low end or entry level electric scooters period on the market. We also have Jeff Lawrence, who is the director of marketing for GOTRAX. He's going to be live on the show with us via Skype, so welcome him. I'm seeing everybody show up in the live chat, so hey Douglas, good to see you. I was already chatting with Go Everywhere a little early while we were getting makeup and stuff done. Please stay tuned because at 6 o'clock, look at the comment, the pinned comment. It has the link to the premiere of this GOTRAX. It's two different scooters. I know we have one behind me. So it's going to premiere at 6 o'clock, so just stay tuned for that. We also have two huge winter sales. It's February, but the electric scooter market is heating up with this super warm winter that some of us in the world are having. It is 70 degrees out right now in Berkeley, California, which is 15, 20 degrees warmer than it normally is. We're sweating in here. Berkeley doesn't have air conditioning, and it's hot. And then finally today, we have a new segment for you called Ramir's Weekly Ride Report. Ramir is our producer. He's also a heavier rider. And so we got a lot of comments about, how, I'm 165 pounds, and there's a big difference in what scooters different riders choose that are heavier versus lighter. So pretty excited about that. Oh, nice. Okay, the mission of the Electric Scooter Guide is to help you find the perfect electric scooter for you. We do this show every Tuesday at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, rain or shine. It's shining today. Please join our community. Of course, you're on YouTube, so definitely hit the subscribe button right now if you're watching. Also, please hit the thumbs up button. That is how you can help us grow our channel. The more viewers we get, the more work we can do and the better job we can do for the industry here. Follow us on Instagram. That's where we're going to post updates and, all the, back end scoops and pictures and stuff like that. And then finally, if you're watching right now and you have questions, throw them into the live chat. The live chat, my producer, Ramir, will get those questions over to me and I will try to answer them. Also, we're going to have Jeff Lawrence coming in here in I think he's going to call in about 10 or 15 minutes. And if you have questions about the electric scooter market, about what's going on with all these hover H1s that you see on Best Buy and what's going on with those, ask those questions in the live chat because our producer will get those questions to me and then you can hear Jeff's take. Jeff is really, really knowledgeable about the larger electric scooter market. So it's going to be an interesting conversation. That is coming up. The conversation with Jeff's coming up 6:15-ish, 6:20, sorry, 5:15, 5:20, basically in about 10 minutes. If you have a question so if you're not watching this live and you have a question, the best place to get your question answered is the Facebook group. So look at the link in the video description for all of these, our Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff. But join the Facebook group. That's where all the conversation's going on. Ask your questions there. And basically, there's a ton of resources. I'm on there multiple times a day trying to answer questions for people. All right. So first off, just want to share with you something that we do on Facebook. Every Friday, we do a Photo Friday on that Facebook group. And whoever gets the most likes on that particular Photo Friday post, we ask them if they want to be on the live show. So this week, Christopher Sivlix Riley won with a bunch of upvotes. He's got this custom rig that he actually built himself. It is a Shot during a wet night in a waterfront near Seattle. So that's pretty cool. I'm taking a trip to Seattle actually next week, leaving Saturday, so maybe I'll check it out. Anyway, it's a custom built scooter. It's got 10-inch tires. It's 52 volt, 50 amp, 2000 watt Chinese controller. It can go basically about 45 miles an hour. It's pretty cool looking. So anyway, congratulations to Christopher for winning Photo Friday. Up next for us, so this week, of course, is GOTRAX week. Next week, better late than never, but it's going to be Xiaomi M365 week, where we will bust out our updated reviews on the Xiaomi M365 and get a video review for everybody. Again, one of the nice low-end or kind of entry-level scooters out there. The week after that is the 25th, and we'll be releasing our review of the E-Move Touring by Voro Motors. That's the scooter that Johanna Young-Jacek was caught riding on Twitter at one of her practices. Then after that is going to be the Mantis, the Cabo Mantis Pro or Base. We're not sure which one we're going to do. We actually have both of them here. All right. Next up, we are doing the 20. This is all news stuff, and then we'll get to the more interesting stuff. But we started, every year we host a survey. We run, of course, the subreddit for electric scooters that 11,500 people subscribe to. And so we're running a survey through that and through all of our channels. Basically, last year we did the largest electric scooter survey in the world, and there wasn't that many scooter riders actually last January. This January, the market's probably more than 10 times bigger. We have a 4-question survey for everybody to fill out. It just says, what is your scooter? Rate it. Where did you buy it? Rate that. And then you put in your email. We will not sell your email. It's only for validation purposes, so we don't get a bunch of spamming, one scooter from some manufacturer randomly or whatever. We don't, it's not, the email is not for sending you anything. You won't be added to any list. It's just for validation. So there's 4 questions and an email. That's it. The link to that is in the pinned comment right now. So please, while I'm jabbering away here, if you could fill that out and let us know how you liked your scooter on a scale of 1 to 5 and how you liked where you bought it on a scale of 1 to 5. That's all we're looking for. Our goal is to get 1,000 responses this year, which will make it the largest personal electric scooter survey in the history of this industry. It'll blow away our old survey, which was, I think, a few hundred. So please fill that out, share that link with your friends, and then I can't wait to get the results and then share those results with all of you guys. Okay. We got a couple big winter sales going on right now. The first one is the 09 winter sale. It's basically not a winter sale. It's a February only sale. So last week, I believe we did, was 09 week. 09 being our favorite scooter under $1,200 that has been like that on our website forever. For me personally, the feature set for the weight is the best value for that weight that I found in the industry. RevRides being like the elite level of customer service, one of the few with a phone number that you can still call them. They have a coupon code which is taking $100 off that scooter. It's only a coupon code that we have. They're not doing any other coupon codes right now. The coupon code for that is BDay-ESG, so probably for Valentine's Day, I'm assuming. So that's a great deal on. That is really my favorite scooter at that 40 to 45 pound weight class for kind of daily commuting. It's got beautiful night lights, like a blue stem and deck. I think there's a picture of that coming up. And they do have the upgraded LG battery. So it's as good as it gets for a 45 pound, even though it's 40 pounds, anything under, I think 45 pounds, which is the weight that I personally don't mind carrying up and down the stairs. That for me, that's why when I say for me, that's the perfect scooter, it's because that's the weight, that's the max weight that I want to carry. And that is my favorite scooter. And so right now is the best deal on that scooter. It just happens to be February. Typically the electric scooter market slows down in February and March because it's winter, but this winter it seems like that's not happening in the electric scooter market. So take advantage of that. The other big winter sale is with Fluid FREERIDE. They're still running their deal on two of our most favorite high-end, heavier electric scooters, and that would be the Cabo Mantis and the Cabo Wolf Warrior. The Cabo Mantis base is $150 off. The Pro is $250 off. And the Wolf Warrior, which is usually $3,200, and actually at $3,000, it's might be the best scooter at that price. It's $700 off right now. You just the deal with the Wolf though is that you have to wait. I think they don't have a shipment or something coming until March, so you just have to wait about a month to get it. But that is basically the best deal you're going to get on that scooter. Also, Fluid FREERIDE upped their warranty to from 90 days to 6 months across the board, which we're really happy about. And you can check out our videos on the Wolf Warrior and Mantis and all that stuff. We also have reviews online about them. So very good winter deals. Also, the U-Scooter Booster S Plus and GT will be back in stock in 5 to 7 days. Somehow U-Scooters got a shipment from China, whereas everybody else is not getting any scooters from China right now because of that coronavirus. So they're going to have them back in stock in 5 to 7 days. If you use our coupon code, you save $100 off, I believe, the Booster S Plus Sport and the V, I believe. Also, Voro Motors, maker of the eMove Cruiser and eMove Touring, now has a second location. It is in LA. I think it might just be for pickup and servicing. I'm not sure if they're doing sales, like, have someone to help you out of there, but you can call and ask them. But they're definitely blowing up. Hey, and Jeff, I just saw Jeff on the live chat, so everybody say hi to Jeff. Cool. Okay, a couple other things. Micromobility America, which we will be at, is April 22nd and 23rd in Richmond, California. If you are around, if you're interested in micromobility, come out, and if you're going to be there, hit me up, because it'd be fun to just meet up with whoever's there. Same thing for Techcrunch Mobility. We were there last year at Techcrunch Mobility. It's actually how I finally got boosted to give me a dang scooter. They were only giving scooters to like big time YouTubers that have like 50 million subscribers or whatever, which those guys are great, but they don't know a thing about scooters. So anyway, so we have our boosted now. Anyway, Techcrunch Mobility, May 14th in San Jose. I'll be there. Hit me up if you're gonna come. Okay, we have a new segment this week, and we figure it's kind of cool. I'm a 160-pound rider. Sometimes 165, depending on how much I had to eat the night before. But there's a lot of riders that are heavier, and actually I can't really give a lot of advice on, what it feels like to pick a scooter if you are over 220 pounds or 100 kilograms, which is what is the weight limit on a lot of these scooters. Plus, I'm just one person. I have my preferences, and I have my living situation, and other people have theirs. So, Ramir, some of you guys know him. He's our producer. He's awesome. We've worked together for a while. He's making our videos. That's why our videos look a lot better now. And he's got this weekly ride report. So take it away, Ramir.
Hello, everyone. It's me, Ramir. I'm here to talk about a few things because Chuck told me to. No, I'm just But first, let's talk about the GOTRAX. It's GOTRAX week. I enjoy the GOTRAX. It's a real good entry scooter. The low price, and he's going to get into it more in the review if you guys stick around to 6 p.m. So don't forget to watch the review. It's really a good, solid scooter from someone that's getting started. Young people. It's just an overall good scooter for the price, and I think it's truly, truly a real good entry scooter. Secondly, I want to get into the scooter that I'm riding. I'm still riding a Booster Rev, and I have a few things to say about the Booster Rev. The Booster Rev is okay. I like it. It's pretty fast. It has a couple modes you can go into. Mode 3 I don't use too much because it's too much torque, and but other than that, I didn't like it initially, but now I kind of like it. I'll get used to it, and it's fine for me because I live in a small town, Castro Valley, California, where you can get to any destination within a few minutes, 10 to 5, 15 minutes. You can go to a library, get something to eat, go to a movie theater, and I do that. On the weekends, I just get on the scooter and just go because it's better than driving. And Castro Valley, it's a lot of cars and the lights, and it's just faster to get there with a scooter. and I like it. So, but I do have a few things I don't like about the scooter, the boosted rev. That is, when you go somewhere, like everybody knows about it, the range is not that good, and the range is what kills it. So every time I'm riding, I always have to have my backpack because I have the charger in there. So when I go to someone's house or go somewhere else, I'm down like halfway, so I have to plug in and get a good charge. What else? The deck is pretty low, but we'll get to that in a future video if you guys want it, because like Chuck said, the heavier riders, I'm concerned about what scooters I can ride comfortably and really, where it can work for me. And booster rev, it does work for those bigger riders, guys and gals that are over 200 pounds. You should feel confident riding that. And my last thing, I just want to say thank you to the viewers. You guys are great. Every week, you guys are in this show, giving me and Chuck the energy we need, getting us through these long weeks. And I always look forward to 5 p.m. on Tuesdays because I get to just be here, and I was just telling Chuck I enjoy it. And I'm out. That's it, guys.
Thank you, Raymir. That's awesome. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Hey, John CA. Yeah, I have to say that too. I never say thank you to the guys, but man, I have this stream open here with all your guys' comments, and like we wouldn't do this if there wasn't, you guys watching and getting value from the show, asking us questions, all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, I never say how much I appreciate things enough, but it's nice to see everybody over here, and especially all you guys that tune in every single week. Awesome. All right, cool. And you know what? If you want us to make a video on the boosted rev, we're like thinking about making it. Boosted's going through some stuff, which we have a little article on actually. But let us know, I guess, if you want us to make a video on the boosted rev, if that's still something that people want. I know a lot of people have their opinions on that scooter. It was voted most hated scooter on Reddit, which not me. That was the people. I think it's a very unique scooter, actually, and I think that it has a purpose out there. It's just that there is no perfect scooter for everybody, and that scooter is very misunderstood. It's very nuanced. It's very unique. The build quality is actually unlike almost anything else. So anyway, we could make a video about that, but you guys let us know if that's something that you want. Speaking of boosted, there's an article that came out in the Verge. About the boosted potentially running out of money. I guess they have been like laying off, and people have been leaving a lot quicker than probably should be. And they're suspect that the tariffs may have really hurt them, that they were hoping that they were going to get a bunch of money back on them. Also, the article really goes into the fact that they did make the boosted rev and they try to get into the electric scooter market, but if they had done maybe a little bit more market research or talked to some of the industry, they may have made different choices about their battery size, their deck clearance, and their decision on whether to use suspension or not, right? And how that affects the weight and the build quality and all those things. So, it would be interesting to, I actually try to reach out. I have multiple contacts at Boosted. I try to reach out. They're kind of hard to get a hold of. I don't always get responses every time. I just keep trying. So hopefully we get something going with them. I've invited them on the show. We'll see what happens. Finally, San Francisco, last news thing talk about is that we've been reporting on the San Francisco Market Street update, which is they made a large portion of Market Street in San Francisco car free or personal car free. There's still some cars on it, but basically what happened was immediately, like as in the very next day after they made it car free, bike ridership was up 20%. So this is not long term reporting. This is like very short term, but folks all over the world, cities all over the world are like really helping to build out better infrastructure for not only bikes, but it's the bike lane, but it's for everybody. It's for everybody on a micromobility device. And even though we represent the scooter market, we're not just for scooters. We're for any way that helps people get to where they're going in a more environmentally friendly way without having to sit and sit in traffic for an hour and a half to go like 3 miles, right? It's just that doesn't work anymore in cities, and we're all for finding better ways to get around and just basically moving our society forward, because cars in cities are not the answer for everybody. as they used to be the ubiquitous answer for getting people around. It's just not that way anymore. All right. We're running a little bit behind. I know Jeff, I want to get to Jeff, but first I just want to just talk about the GOTRAX XR and XR Ultra, which is what this episode is about. And then we'll bring in Jeff. So I'm just going to give you the basics on the scooter. The two scooters, right? The XR Ultra. So the XR is regularly priced at $299. The XR Ultra is $399. The main differences between the XR and the XR Ultra is that the XR has the 250 watt motor and a slightly smaller battery than the XR Ultra. The XR Ultra is a 300 watt motor, which is actually in our tests, it did perform better in terms of acceleration and hill climb. And also the battery is larger on the Ultra, and it's an LG battery, which is something that a lot of people want. We got 9.1 miles of range on the XR and 13.1 miles of range on the XR Ultra. Now, when I talk about that price is very entry level, right? $300 and $400. However, I talked to Jeff this whole week trying to figure out if I can get him on the show and bugging him about a coupon code. He's going to do a coupon code for you guys. Is not doing it, as far as I know, anywhere else in the world. This is not valid. It's just for us. So I believe the coupon code is electric-scooter.guide, which is just our website, 50. And the 50 is in reference to $50 off. So basically, at the scooter, the XR, that's $299 goes down to $250, which, the value per dollar at $250 for the scooter that's going to get you from point A to point B reliably and safely, which the scooter actually will. And we have the review. We're going to talk about that. I think that's the best, like if you're in the market for an entry level scooter, something that you can kind of just try out and see if electric scootering even works for you. And then maybe in a year you upgrade to something else, or 2 years you get something faster. That's kind of how these things go. It's like you start with, the minimum to get by. And this scooter is that. You can sell this thing for $200 on Craigslist probably in a year. So it's almost like no cost in terms of total cost of ownership. Like you're probably spending $50 actually, because we're getting this huge coupon code on the XR. So if you're new to scooters, this is kind of like what I mean. It's like this scooter, the Xiaomi M365. Those are the two kind of best entry level scooters. But the Xiaomi is like closer to $400. So it's a little bit more of a financial risk to a lot of people. So anyway, this scooter basically, when people are looking for entry level, they're not looking for like every bell and whistle and every feature in the world, right? They're looking for the minimum viable thing that's going to get them from point A to point B reliably and safely. And that's what this scooter does. So what we look for in an electric scooter to become, to say, hey, this is extra safe and extra reliable is, number one, does it brake on us or not? We had the older version of this scooter. It didn't brake on us through the whole road trip. It was actually, there was 3 out of 6 scooters that didn't brake. I won't tell you the ones that did brake, but this one didn't on that whole road trip. It was 14 days. Also, what the other things we look for in terms of safety would be pneumatic tires, a front light, hopefully a backlight. That's one thing that the scooter lacks, is you do need to get yourself a backlight. We want it to have a disc or a drum brake, right, for maximum stopping power. And then we want to have an audible device, right? This scooter has every one of those features except for that rear light, which, look in our video description. You can see the link for the one that I use. It's rechargeable, but you need to add that to basically any scooter, but this one because it just has the reflector. So yes, the scooter has dual 8.5-inch pneumatic tires. It has a disc brake. Our stopping distance from 15 miles an hour was actually under 15 feet, which is really good. And it does have a bell. So I mean, it's got everything that you're kind of like looking for in an electric scooter, and the build quality is good. I mean, we put someone heavier than the 220 pounds that it says you can go up to, and the scooter did just fine actually. So anyway, that is just kind of my initial take on the scooter. We do have the written review that's up right now. It's linked in the video description. Also, the video review, of course, is coming out at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to put on these headphones so I can hear Jeff, but let's see if we can get Jeff on the line here via Skype. And then I'm going to see if I can get some questions going as well. Let's see here. Oh, Stayblaze says they're doing the survey now. Thank you, Stayblaze. Y'all do that survey, please, and then share it with your friends. We'll throw it on. We're going to pin it on the Reddit real soon. Is Jeff ready? Jeff, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Hey, Jeff. How you doing, man?
Hey, what's up, you guys?
All right. Cool. Hey, so thank you very much for coming on. This is Jeff Lawrence, director or head, I think we call you director of marketing for GOTRAX. Yeah, we've talked a little bit this week, but you're just like a super insightful guy about the industry as a whole, and I really appreciate you hooking up everybody with the $50 coupon code on both scooters.
Yeah, no problem. In creating these models, we took a ton of feedback from Reddit. It's probably one of the best places to get feedback, and your guys' website and the traffic you guys drove. So it's always great for you guys. And then, I mean, basically these scooters are trying to be reliable point, but still for the price. So it took us about a year. Our GXL version 1 and V2 was our first electric scooter for adults ever. The previous ones all were probably more aimed at kids. And so I think we found the same issues that a lot of scooter companies find. So if you look on Amazon from that era, like us, Xiaomi, we all kind of landed in the same like 3.5 stars area. So we just really looked back at all for the year and all our reviews for the year and all our customer service issues for the year and categorize them and then try to address each of those problems with these new models while keeping it within around the same price point.
Yeah. So could you tell us a little bit about what you did differently? You know, what are the upgrades or what are the changes on the XR Ultra versus the GXL V1 or V2?
Yeah, sure. So the XR isn't too much different. That one still has the same size motor. What you can't really tell from the specs is that we changed out the consoles that they used and the disc brakes that they use as well. So we upgraded the fender because we found those were our most simple issues that customers could fix, but it was an annoyance to people caused bad reviews. So we handled that first, and then the battery cells are from a different supplier. So we're still wrapping our own batteries. We're just getting whole new cells. They seem to be working out better as far as like return rates, reviews, everything so far. So the XR Ultra actually does have an upgrade. So that 300-watt motor is paired with a larger, the 7.0 amp LG battery. And so those, again, are wrapped by us. But if you open up and look at the cells, they're all LG cells inside. And that was basically just because the thing that we were noticing on, even if it was outside of the warranty, we still tried to help a lot of people with like their issues on scooters. And so we were trying to get a battery that people can really feel confident in going closer to a year. And the only way we could do that was to pay for the better cells. So we've given that option out there and wanted to test the market and see if people prefer to spend a little bit more but get more out of it. So
okay,
in that entry level.
Got it. Okay.
So those are the main differences on everything. And then from our company, just standards and everything, the QC is a lot different. I think that will really solve most of the issues in general. Because I think a lot of the stuff we could have caught, and this year we will. So.
Awesome. Jeff, could you, I don't know if you're talking through your Bluetooth microphone or if the webcam microphone.
Take a look.
Could you switch it to that other mic that we tested? Sorry.
Yeah, sure. Sorry about that. Can you guys hear me better now?
Let's see if that's better. I'll ask that we got some people that give me quick feedback on things.
All right.
Let's see if that I think it's better. Cool. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, no, this is way better. Yeah.
Cool.
We got different people feeding me info, and yeah, it's better. Thank you. So sweet. Okay,
Cool.
so thank you for getting the differences between those scooters. That's something that that I wanted to figure out for sure. So let's go over. I have some questions for sure about GOTRAX. So one of the questions is like, what do you see? I mean, this is the biggest question, and I think some of the most interesting question right now for everybody is like, what do you see for 2020? What's like your prediction for the market for 2020? Like, what's going on? What's the bigger picture like as far as either the entry
Sure.
level big box stores, or I don't know if you have any insight into kind of the mid range or high end market too. But I'd love to get your opinion because you work for one of the larger electric scooter companies, and you know it's interesting to me.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're seeing like different trends in the different areas. One of the most interesting ones I'd say is the in big box, specifically Walmart and Target, which generally have dominated as far as the big box stores goes. And then there's some of the outdoor stores carry stuff like One Wheel and some higher end products, but for the most part, in big box, everything has to be about $500 or less. Um, just because that's the type of buyer and it's very holiday driven compared to e-commerce where people do more research and pick a scooter. They use websites like your guys to pick a scooter that fits them better. We're seeing a huge consolidation. Last year, there was maybe 4 or 5 large competitors. If you count Xiaomi, the people who make Hover One, which I believe are DGL,
Okay.
Swagtron, ourself, and Razer.
Okay.
And now you're probably going to see that drop down to. I'd be really surprised if you see more than 2 or 3 brands this holiday come around, just because certain people place too big of bets on inventory, and then their product didn't deliver, which is like a huge sweeping thing across the inventory. And some of the companies may have placed bets too big of to recover
Who
from.
can
So
you
we'll
can
see
you
how
can you say
if that
who
plays out in the
placed?
holiday or what.
Can you tell us who placed the too big of bets?
I I know just I think the people who placed the biggest bet from what I is DGL and Hover One. So they made a ton of units. And us being the top selling on Walmart and Amazon, we can kind of gauge at least their e-com potential. And based on the number that I heard in the hundreds of thousands of units, there's just almost no way they could have moved that last year. So that'll be an interesting one to see if they're still around. But
Is that
they
a
have a lot of other
Chinese
products and they
company?
sell in other countries.
Is the you said DJO, right?
Um, DG, DGL, yeah, they make the
DGL.
Hover One, and they distribute a ton of different products.
Yeah.
So they have other lifelines. They probably won't go away as a company, but I would be interested to see if they make an appearance in store anywhere. The Hover One brand
Yeah, we've
would
been
be really
hearing
interesting.
a lot of people asking us to review the Hover One because, and I didn't hear about it until maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and it's on Best Buy all the time,
Hmm.
and it's not something that was on my radar because I don't typically look at big box stores. I just haven't done that yet. What will happen to the people that have bought the Hover One if DGL goes out of business? Are they going to find replacement parts? Are they going to get service through Best Buy? Like, what will happen to them?
Honestly, DHL is a huge company as far as like the amount of stuff distributed. I doubt the entirety of their company would go away, and I don't want to like scare any of their customers. I'm sure that they would support their products and that kind of thing.
Okay.
But as far as like expecting anything new out of them, or I just don't see how you're going to keep producing new units while trying to sell these older units that basically are going to become obsolete. And if the reviews, like they show on Amazon and all that, are starting to be accurate, it's going to be hard for them to compete. I think with stuff that, like for example, we specifically designed to meet those problems basically, and they're having the same problems that we had, a year ago plus. So
Ah,
I think they're a little. But
okay.
we'll
Okay,
see. I
interesting.
mean, I
So
mean
you think
that's
it's going to be
just my speculation based on like personal opinion, based on how many they make.
yeah,
So.
yeah. So it'll be probably you guys, Swagtron, probably maybe, and Xiaomi at the entry level.
I would say next holiday in the big box is for sure will be there, and I think for sure Jetson will be there. They have a long
Jetson.
standing relationship with those guys, and they're more, again, you wouldn't probably have heard of them much. They don't do much e-commerce, but they're in all the big box. They're another huge distributor of products.
Yeah.
So they're not really an electric scooter company per se, but I'd say us and them for sure. And we'll have to see how the new Xiaomi Pro does. Still early to say on that.
What do you think about the Xiaomi Pro? I mean, it's very hard to get that in the United States. You can maybe find it on GearBest once in a while. That's where we link to
Yeah.
it. It's typically also $650 plus. So, do you have any insight into that?
Well, I mean, they are one of the largest factories, and they do make good stuff. So I if they can figure out the supply chain or whatever the issue is, I honestly don't know. Everywhere, they would have a lot more success. But I mean, with every new scooter in our price range, when they come out with what the specs are and that, and it's like, okay, well, what does it really get? So that's the if it really does get some of those, like the Segways in the $700 range, if they can get what they say, that'll be a really solid scooter.
Yeah.
You can't say anything about
Well,
that. So
we have reviews on both the Segway 9bot Max and the Xiaomi Pro, and they get about, like, if you're talking about like the range, the 40 miles claimed range, it's not 40 miles.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes,
we
exactly.
have a review. We don't need to talk about it, but it's not 40, and like we've said that from the beginning. And actually, Xiaomi reached out to us to tell us to take down a video where I said it wasn't 40, and I was like, nope, I'm not taking down the video. That's not how it works.
It is what it is. I mean, lithium-ion battery.
Yeah.
So I mean, that big thing that can,
Yeah.
to it
Interesting.
too. So that's the only thing I have that I noticed.
Yeah. What do you think about? Do you have any insight into kind of like what's going on in the kind of mid range, like 600 to 1,000 to 2,000? You have what I see as an explosion of companies, an explosion of different, not even form factors, but like, you have so many different models springing up and so many companies that are selling sometimes very similar scooters without a ton of differentiation, but then they'll have a different, a little bit different motor in this one. Maybe one has hydraulic versus not hydraulics, but there's just so much rapid expansion there. What do you see happening with that?
The scooter industry start to expand, and the parts and everything become more accessible, and people can just like piece order these things and put them together, as well as you get people who become kind of super fans and turn that into a business. I think you to see that because they'll the part of the industry that really drives that is the enthusiast level, which I think is more of your guys' audience, which is people who want better and bigger and everything you can put on a scooter.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where people, if they want to get into this industry, that's where they have the most chance, because when it comes to competing with someone like us or Swagtron or anyone else, it's always what, and that usually comes out of producing a massive quantity. So I think that's why you'll see the consolidation on our end, and then on the end of the middle and high range, I think you'll continue to see, like, I really hope to see everyone wants to like think of what's going to be the new thing. And then that was unique. They got the patent on it, and so I'm actually kind of interested to see what kind of scooter spin-offs we'll see. We have one later in the year, which I'm sure we'll give to you guys first. But we have one later in the year that will be the first true. It's not a two-wheeled scooter; it's something different. And we're still working out the kinks, just the engineering portion, though. So the two-wheel thing is honestly the easiest and the smartest to engineer, and we're trying new things, but it's really hard to make something more efficient.
Are you saying that you have a 3-wheel scooter coming out?
So, yeah, let's go ahead and throw that out there. Yeah, we do. I just don't want to have a date because we're still trying to figure out the engineering of like the leaning portion of it, as well as like what wheels, if it's going to have the one large wheel, two smaller one in the back, or we're testing all this different stuff. And really, we're producing a bunch of different scooters in between. So it's our last one to come. So I that much information, but it's our first just like absolute try at something else.
Wow, very cool, very cool. I'm excited about that. So awesome. Let me see. Yeah, this is pretty interesting information. I appreciate your just take on the industry and everything. So I mean, right now, I guess my question is like, what's next for GOTRAX? So it sounds like you've got this G3, G5 or something coming down the way, and then also potentially a
Yeah.
three-wheeled scooter. And then we'll see you in big box stores more. What can we expect?
Yeah, so for big box, we just got into we're in about 2,000 or so Walmart stores, and by the end of the year, we'll be in all, I believe, 4,000 of their U.S. locations. So, and our next target that we're working with now, oh, I shouldn't say target. Our next person is target that we're
Okay.
working with now, and I have some smaller ones that still actually do sell places you might think of, like Dick's Sporting Goods, Academy Sports, a lot of the different outdoor stores. Two places for the lower priced items will be Walmart and Target, but news are coming out. Will only be available online there. Just the price point is getting too high. They'll be in about $400 to $600 range,
These are going to be the G3, G5.
and that is our G3,
Oh, sorry.
G4. Yeah, G3 and G4. Yep. And we actually have, even though we haven't started promoting it because it won't come until May. With the holdup with the Chinese New Year and then the coronavirus and everyone waiting to go back to the factory.
Yeah.
It'll be about May before we get them. But
Okay.
those ones are of completely new design. They have higher top end speeds and everything. Those ones probably won't be available in the big box this year, just because the kind of consumer therefore is more matches our e-commerce thing. So online, we're trying to go bigger and better. And the scooters are completely redesigned from the GXL V2 and the XR. They're different body type. The batteries are actually in the baseboard of them now to give more stability
Yeah.
instead of the tiller for the new ones.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's just like a severe improvement on the displays and everything else. So and a lot of that, which we can talk about, is coming from European distributors because they're demanding a lot of new stuff on the scooters.
Jeff, real quick, can you, we already got your video cut. Do you mind just cutting your video? And I think the audio quality may increase if you just cut your video, since we just basically have the sunset picture of you, which looks really good, up for your picture. But if you can cut your video,
Sure.
I think maybe the audio may sound a little better. So what's the top, what is going to be the top speed on that G3 or G5?
Sure. So the G3, it'll be 18 miles per hour on that one, and then the G4 will do 20 miles per hour on that one.
Interesting.
So a little bit faster. Still not the fastest out there, but starting to bridge the gap between the enthusiast and the everyday rider.
Yeah. Well, how do you segment the folks that go 15 and the scooters that go 15 with scooters that go 18, scooters that go 20, and then, even scooters, of course, lots of them that go even 25. How do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I mean, the easiest way is to kind of divide it is the price point in the buyer. So, at certain price points, your buyer changes and what they expect out of it change and what they're going to use it for. So our low end 250, if the average commute is under 10 miles, it just needs to get that 10 miles and reliably do that. It doesn't have to be super filled. Tires make sense, and the battery of the size we're doing makes sense. As far as the next step up we see is when we used to sell our scooter originally, the V2 originally was $449, and people bought it and left us 5 stars at that price. Like people were happy to buy it at that price, and just because the industry was really new and there just wasn't as much competition. And so now what we're seeing is like people are willing to pay $400 or $500, but they want they basically wanted what Xiaomi promised. They wanted closer to 15 miles, 16 miles of range for it to be completely reliable. So I would say they're still commuters. I'd say they're still not the enthusiasts that are looking for like super speed, but they maybe have a longer commute or really do want to use this as a main mode of transportation. They don't want to charge it, twice a day or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then the next segment up is where everyone starts to really look into stuff like speed and then the quality of the ride, because you're going so fast. So I think suspension is super important. And to what you were saying earlier, I think that's maybe where like Boosted's mistake was on that scooter, because I've seen them and I haven't ridden one, but it looks so nice. And the only thing I've heard from people in the industry is like the issue of going that fast without, some kind of heavy duty suspension.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's how I would kind of break it up. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I don't know who's buying the $4,000 scooter. Maniacs who want to go 40 miles per hour on a scooter.
Yeah.
I mean,
A lot of the people watching right now are
those
maniacs.
are the people. Exactly. So those are the people I'm trying to find now. But we're not at that level. And honestly, with the engineering, I wouldn't want to produce something at that level that we couldn't say is safe and like worth the money. So we'll get there, but we're working our way up, basically.
Gotcha. So you'll have some models that are up to about $600. Exactly. Great.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's probably where we'll top out for this, and then we'll hire next year.
Yeah.
But just for our company is our new QC team and new product development team. So just like on orders period, even though we always honor the returns and everything, our basic way this year to keep our price as low as last year but deliver better units is to reduce our return rate, and we're doing that through QC, which I felt like our either 5-star, you got a scooter that worked totally fine, or you got a dud and then we had to exchange it for you and you had to wait an extra week. And I know that's total inconvenience when you're expecting a brand new scooter. You're ready to ride when it shows up. So,
yeah. So you guys.
I'd say the last shops. So that's our last initiative this year will be to figure out some actual like dedicated repair shops. So I know you guys had your list, and I'll reach out to those people. But setting something up, a lot of people can't handle the tire changes and stuff like that, and totally understand that.
Yeah. So your QC process is that you have a team that's at a factory in China somewhere that is like your employees that they're doing a better job, or what's kind of the difference, or why what's the reason why you'll get less duds or returns and things like that?
Yeah, definitely. So the way it is the factory is our parent company. So while we're all one big company, technically we're not, and they have their own goals and their own stuff in mind. So this year, instead of having the factory QC, we have a QC company that works for GOTRAX and can actually halt shipments if stuff is not up to their part. Awesome. So we hired some industry professionals. They've worked at other companies in this industry, so they've done this all before, and we just kind of went with a really, really experienced team. And they actually implemented QC checks on the U.S. side too for our team here once stuff arrives. So we'll have a whole new set of checks that didn't exist, and then we have a I guess a party that's not influenced by the factory. They're purely influenced by the quality and what we want to sell here at GOTRAX. So
awesome.
That's what our European distributor did, and their return rate was an extremely low number. So we're just trying to mirror that model over here.
Perfect. That sounds great. We have a question from Don Scott. Don's asking, do you see independent scooter stores maybe offering 3 or 4 major brands coming along, such as like the bicycle shop model? Do you see that as a potential future for the electric scooter market?
Yeah, actually, that person is 100% dead on. We started our dealer program at the very end of last year because one of our head of is very experienced in the electric bike sector, and so he wanted to go after all the bike dealers, and it's been really successful because not only are they equipped to sell them, but they're also equipped to repair and maintain them. The people who run those places are pretty technically smart and figure out our products really quick, and sometimes we've had to go to them for feedback just because they know what they're doing so well. So yes, 100%. But I don't think it'll be our lower end models. I think again, just because of the necessity for it to be profitable for everyone in the chain, they'll probably do the middle to higher range and probably sell stuff closer from like $500 up. And yeah, the model it would be the people who sell like mopeds right now, or the people who sell electric bikes right now. Very similar to that.
Got it. Cool.
Definitely, that is.
Yeah, I know that would be something that, I mean, we get so many questions from people. I mean, just seeing the different platforms that we run, the subreddit and our Facebook and whatnot, people are always like trying to find a place that they can go test these scooters before they buy them, because it's a new type of product. It's a new type of mobility device. And it's so hard to figure out what works for you unless you have already ridden one. And if if you haven't ridden it, then I could imagine how hard it must be to buy. I mean, my first scooter, I bought it without ever having ridden a scooter before, and it cost me almost $1,000. This was 2016, and it was. I mean, it's a hard decision to spend that much money for something that you've actually never been on. I mean, maybe you've ridden something like the Bird or the Lime, but if you're looking for something above that, which most scooters in the personal market are above the Bird or Lime in terms of the performance and whatnot. I think it's just an issue with the industry right now that you can't do that. So we see that a lot.
Definitely. One of the most successful companies in the electric bike industry is Rad Power Bikes, and you can come test their products in their stores and all that kind of stuff. It's definitely people. It's weird because we sell all the expensive ones on e-commerce, but there's definitely a place for people who want to come in and see these. And I don't think the big box can afford to give us that much floor space for something that won't sell as often. And that's where I think these independent bike dealers would come in and fill that need. So that was like a super good question, because that's definitely a trend that is picking up right now.
Cool. Next question is from Super Hot BM. Man, I hope that doesn't mean what I think it means. This person asks, does Jeff see better battery technology coming?
Yeah, so actually, I can't give like a ton of details, but we've actually been approached by several people that are doing studies at different schools and such on new battery technology, and they want to implement it in scooters as like one of the things to test them, because it's a really good test of distance, like how far is it going to go. So there are some things where people have claimed that they can produce. The only thing that I'm seeing though is because it's like economically driven. Most people's claims are that they can produce the same amount of power for less price. So I would be more interested to see, okay, how about the same price, but what can you fit into one of these scooters without, making it too heavy or making it, a danger, because it's such a huge lithium-ion battery, So yeah, there's definitely improvements coming that I think even like a year from now it'll be different. But I didn't really see the adoption to lithium ion phosphate that I thought we might see, which they're more expensive, but they generally get more charges per battery lifetime.
Okay.
But the industry didn't really go that way. When I used to work at Swagtron, we started trying those in a few of the units, and it just didn't really, the consumer didn't really care at that level anymore, and I'm surprised it didn't take off. But I think most of the battery thing will just get cheaper over time.
Okay.
But hopefully they'll get better in producing energy. I would be so cool if like solar could get good enough to actually have an effect on your scooter's battery life or something.
Yeah,
that would be super cool.
So I know the XR Ultra, of course, has the LG battery. What are you, I mean, besides just the letters LG, and people, want to buy something that says the letters LG or Panasonic or that are known for their, battery technology. Have you guys seen any real differences between a Sync Power or another Chinese generic brand and an LG battery? Or is it purely kind of like the
dude, your questions are so good. Yeah, your questions are so good. Actually, we're testing that. So there's a model that's not even on here that's coming. It's the XR Elite, and it will match the LG one specs, the Ultra specs, but it'll be our own Chinese battery instead. So we were going to test if that can do it. Right now, what we decided is people want the quality and we want to deliver a new product right away. So it's just easier for us to pay for the better cells and know what we were getting. But Elite outdoes the XR Ultra.
What was that last
then we
thing
know
you
it doesn't
said?
matter.
Sorry, I missed that last 10 seconds.
Oh, no problem. I was going to say we'll know if we stop selling the Ultra because of the Elite. It's because the Chinese batteries perform just as good.
Okay, and is
But
just as good based on
so far, I
number
mean, the
of
LG and Panasonic
charges,
batteries.
or is it based more on getting more capacity from that same watt hour, or
In my opinion, the two factors that matter the most is the distance you're going to get per charge, and then how long is that overall battery life. And I think the goal at the lower end of the price would be anything that could last a year, as long as the battery is easily changeable. I think that's very fair for the price range. But to go back, one thing I should say that's also really different about the G3 and G4 is the batteries now have like a more modular connection, so anyone can change them rather.
On the G3 and
If
G4.
you're trying to change a V2 battery right now, yeah. So the XR and the XR Ultra and the V2 all have the same style. Where I would not suggest a regular consumer to change the battery. Where the new ones, actually, we've created like a little connection that's very simple to just pop off. You can order a new battery from us and pop it in. So I think that'll change the game, and it'll be more about educating consumers that they are lithium-ion batteries, and you will have to every year or so, or however often, get that original charge and distance again.
Okay.
So I think that'll be a big change because I think no one can beat that. That's the
Yeah, being able, and you're talking about,
period.
Just to confirm, it's to be able to kind of like swap out your battery with 20-30 minute kind of change out maybe once a year, so you can get a fresh amount of range on it. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, actually, and I think it will actually be more like a 2 minute. You basically only have to undo two screws at this point, change, so that anyone can do on the new models. So I just forgot to mention it, but it is probably one of the most important thing here, because in the assembly a lot can go wrong, with the connectors.
And that's on.
So
And that's
the new
on
ones
the
have a much more
XR
simple
and
assembly.
that's on the XR and XR Ultra.
That'll only be on the G3 and G4 and everything moving forward.
Okay.
Those ones are totally re-engineered.
Okay, and
So the XR Ultra is basically our upgrade to the V2.
Yeah, and just the last question is the G3 and G4, G5.
Yeah.
Are they similar to other scooters that we've seen before, or is this a new engineering that you guys have developed, or are we going to see this other places, or you know what I mean? Are your engineers working on it, or?
Yeah. So they're unique as far as like, and there's very similar, like for example, the deck would be very similar to a lot of the rental scooters you're seeing now. If you've seen the newer wave of rental scooters, that they look more like Xiaomi with the bigger deck and everything, because we had to put the battery in there. The display is one I haven't seen on any other scooters, so that part's unique. And then the body and folding mechanism type, I would say it's closest. It's where, if you could see the scooter right behind you, how it folds at the base there, this one will actually just fold on the tiller a little bit higher up, where the wheel will not bend back at all, and that's just for like safety. So that'll all be one big solid part, because these things are going to be a little bit.
Yeah, more like the.
And then everything will be metal.
Okay. Awesome.
So closer to Xiaomi.
Yeah, I was gonna say
the rental scooters, I would say it's unique, but not anything mind blowing.
Sure, cool. We need to wrap it up. And Jeff, really appreciate you coming on the show today. This is super cool. We want to have you back. Your insight is fantastic, and thank you for answering all the questions from our viewers today. So we're gonna let you go, but we'll be in touch. And thank you for the coupon code also for everybody.
Yeah, no problem, you guys. This was great. Have a good one.
Okay, bye-bye, Jeff. All right, guys. So we're back. Thanks for the questions. So it's 6 o'clock. So look at the we'll paste a link in the live chat. But if you look on the comment, the premiere will be starting. Basically, they give us actually like a minute and a half countdown. So it's starting basically like now, but in about a minute. Anyway, next week, of course, is Xiaomi week. So we're going to have a live show and the review of the Xiaomi M365, another amazing entry-level electric scooter. For the GOTRAX, thank you so much for watching about, this show. The premiere is coming up, and don't forget, $50 off. You might as well use it if you're looking for an entry-level scooter, or you have a young one, or a new rider, younger rider that wants a safe scooter. Okay, we'll see you all over in the live chat at the premiere. Ride safe, and don't forget to wear your helmet. We'll see you next week, everybody. Bye-bye.